All right, Dre. For our next segment, we're going to talk about someone who's been kind of a big mouth lately in the sports world, Mr. Lavar Ball, and of course his son Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, well, Lavar more than Lonzo has been outspoken, right? But I mean, it's been crazy. He's been in the media for a focal point for 3 or 4 months now, since about February or March. And it's just gotten worse, to be honest with you.
It really has.
He's been very outspoken about wanting Lonzo to play for the Lakers. That looks even more like it's going to happen.
It looks
now
like it's going to happen.
Second pick. Of course, anything could happen. But also the shoes that he came out with, that was a big deal. That's been a big thing in the media.
$495.
Yeah, it's nuts. Especially, I don't know if you saw last couple days ago when he was on the Colin Cowherd's show.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, I'll leave the link down in the description. You can go check that video out.
Really disrespectful.
Really disrespectful to Kristine. And it's just been one thing after another with him, and I'm honestly I'm kind of getting sick of it. I kind of just want the draft to be over, and so he can shut back up and go back in his hole.
He's been really outspoken. He's been really, really annoying. But when we really think about it, all he's trying to do is promote his brand.
Right.
And it's pretty genius. He gets out here. He says he can beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. Says how amazing his sons are. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if many people know this, but he's got 2 more sons, actually, that have both committed to play for UCLA already. So Lonzo's just the beginning. So if you don't like Lavar Ball now, you're going to have a few more years of it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing what I've always said is, as annoying as he is, it's working. What he's doing is working. He's predicted this Lonzo to the Lakers thing for months, and it's going to happen. Like, he's predicting this, and it's worked. And, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, who was the most anticipated player coming out of the draft? It wasn't Lonzo Ball. It was probably Jason Tatum or Markelle Fultz, probably, for sure. But it definitely wasn't Lonzo Ball.
And now it's Lonzo Ball.
And now it's Lonzo Ball. No one even cares about Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, seriously.
He's going to go to the Celtics or whatever. They might trade it, whoever he might go to. No one's going to care about where he goes or what he does. Anyone's only going to care about Lonzo, where he goes, which is going to probably be the Lakers, and how he does.
And what I hate about it is, and then we're sitting here and we're still talking about him, and we're still complaining about him, and it's working. What he's doing, he's getting his big baller brand out there with his $495 shoes. Who's he trying to sell to? Bill Gates? Like, who? Donald Trump? Who are you trying to sell those $495 shoes to?
Even if I had an extra $500 laying around, I wouldn't spend them on shoes.
Especially Lonzo's.
Yeah, I mean that's a car payment for a really nice car.
Seriously,
right?
man,
I mean,
what are you doing?
I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to market. He's trying to get the name out there. He's trying to get hype for his son. I get it, but you do gotta calm down. I think a little bit now, especially towards the end of the regular season, I guess the playoffs, and going into the draft. I think you need to back off just a little bit, especially with what happened a couple days ago
with his disrespect.
And that was a very bad image for him, and I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I think you just got to calm down a little bit.
One thing that blows my mind with him is, once again, he's doing a great job with his marketing of his brand. But LeBron signed a $1 billion contract with Nike. The official numbers weren't released, but people speculate it's about $1 million. So it was $1 billion.
Yeah.
So it was $1 billion with a B for a lifetime contract with Nike. And now Lavar Ball is saying he will sell his big baller brand to Adidas or Nike or Under Armour for $3 billion.
$3 billion.
So you're telling me that your 3 sons are going to be worth 3 times as much as LeBron, who's the second greatest player ever.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, I mean that I think he lost all credibility when he said that.
$3 billion?
I mean,
more than LeBron?
$1 billion. If all of his sons are great, $1 billion is going to look pretty good.
Yeah.
That's going to look like a steal.
It's 3 athletes.
But that's only if they're all great.
Exactly.
Like, when have we ever seen that? Like, even the Currys.
Yeah.
Dale was pretty good. Seth is decent at best.
And then Steph's
obviously great. Yeah. But how often have we seen 3 players, brothers? We kind of saw it with the Plumlees at Duke.
Yeah.
Do you remember Mason Plumlee, Miles Plumlee, those guys? But they're kind of irrelevant in the NBA. I mean,
same with the Lopez brothers.
The Lopez brothers, they're decent, but again, I wouldn't give Robin and Brooke Lopez $1 billion for a shoe.
Seriously,
no one's gonna buy it, right? So I understand if they're great, $1 billion looks amazing for all 3 of them, right? But I think you're a little premature in saying that, especially now he's lost all credibility. Saying $3 billion. Maybe 15, 20 years down the road, $3 billion won't look like as much as it does now, and maybe if his sons are great, it might turn out to be a thing. But again, I mean, it's working what he's doing, but it's just getting tired and old in the media.
No, I agree with you. So let's switch gears. let's talk about Lonzo. Last show we did, we both thought that he was the best prospect. That we'd both probably pick him.
Yeah.
What do you think about his career? His dad's really hyping him up. Do you think he's gonna be pretty good in the NBA? Do you think he's gonna be amazing? Is he getting hyped up?
It's hard to tell because for a long time we've always had players who come out of college that we think are going to be great.
Yeah.
A la Greg Oden.
Anthony Bennett. One of the worst busts in history.
All these guys. There's a list that goes on and on and on. That goes of high profile college athletes coming out of into the draft and just not playing well. And so I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to say from now what he's going to be like. Whether the pressures of playing in LA are going to get to him, I don't know. I do think he has probably the highest upside of anyone in the draft, except for maybe Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Markelle Fultz can come in and score right away, but I don't know if he's going to have as high as upside as Lavar or Lonzo or Jason Tatum.
Josh Jackson.
Jackson even. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that he does well, especially after all this hype. Like, it would kind of be funny though if after all this hype, he comes in and is a bust and he's terrible and I think a lot of people would get some satisfaction out of that. Lavar would kind of have to eat his words.
Seriously.
I don't know. I hope he plays well. I mean, I can see him being like a Jason Kidd, a Michael Carter Williams, who was supposed to be one of those players that were supposed to be really good, a lengthy point guard that was coming in, and Michael Carter Williams has underachieved. And if he turns out to be like Jason Kidd, we're going to be saying, he's a great player.
So I'm gonna throw some stats out to you.
Oh, great.
I've dug into this a little bit because I really want to figure out if Lavar's on to something or if he's a little bit crazy.
Okay.
So Lonzo in his lone season at UCLA, he averaged 14.6 points per game and 7.6 assists per game with shooting a 55% field goal percentage. So he shot around 55. That's pretty good. And comparing that to the couple other studs of the NBA, a couple other all-stars of the NBA, because Lavar is making it seem like his son's going to be an all-star. So I just brought a couple of all-stars college numbers up to see some comparison. Russell Westbrook averaged 12.7 points per game, 4.3 assists, and shot 46% from the field. Okay. So with that, Lonzo's got a pretty better percentage. Isaiah Thomas, who played at Washington, averaged 15.5 points per game with 2.6 assists and 41% from the field. So Isaiah Thomas is scoring more but not passing as much.
Shooting a higher percentage. Right.
John Wall averaged 16.6 points per game with 6.5 assists and shot 46% of the field. So there, John Wall's scoring more, but he's not as passing, not getting as much assists.
Right.
And then the big one for me is D'Angelo Russell. Because there's been a lot of speculation where if Lonzo goes to the Lakers, they're going to get rid of D'Angelo, ship him off to Indiana or somewhere.
Right.
D'Angelo Russell averaged 19.3 points per game in college, had 5 assists, and shot 45% of the field.
Okay.
So when you look at it, Lonzo isn't scoring as much as these other all-stars, but he's getting a lot more assists. So that's kind of the comparison on that.
And that's what we've been heard said for a while now. He's going to make his teammates better, which those numbers clearly indicate. 7.5 assists a game, 7.6 assists per game. That's a good number, especially in college. In the NBA, people can knock down shots. So you're going to go from 7.6 to 9 or 9.5 or whatever because people just can knock down more shots, right? And the thing that stood out for me is I'm a big field goal percentage guy. That shows to me how efficient you are. So he's shooting 55%, higher than anyone on the list you mentioned. And obviously it's a short list, but I think shooting a higher percentage shows a couple of things. It shows that you have good judgment. You take good shots. You take smart shots. Exactly. You have a good judgment. That's going to translate into the NBA because you can, you have to work to get a good shot in the NBA. And I think Lonzo Ball has that capacity in his mind to get good shots. It shows efficiency that he's a good shooter. He can knock down shots. He can knock down open shots. And, even with his funky release, people have said that's going to be an issue. But what does it matter if it goes in? And that percentage, 55%, is a great percentage.
Exactly.
That's up in the LeBron territory.
On his level, huh?
Not that I'm saying
he is worth $3 billion.
Not that I'm saying Lonzo's going to be LeBron. I'm not saying that. But that's a very high efficiency for someone coming into the NBA. And I think he's set up to play well with the Lakers as long as they get a few more pieces, maybe a Paul George or someone like that. I think he could really flourish there.
So there's the numbers on Lonzo. I mean, is Lavar crazy, or is he on to something? Is really, I like the field goal percentage stats as well, showing his efficiency, and the assists really jumped out. I mean, he was a whole assist ahead of the next closest person, which is John Wall.
Right.
So maybe Lonzo will be on something.
Yep. I mean, I'm definitely excited for to see the next season and see how it plays out. Like I said, I hope that he plays well, and I hope that Lavar kind of shuts up and after he gets drafted. But yeah, so we're gonna see what happens in the NBA draft on I believe it was June 22nd, right? Yep. June 22nd is the NBA draft.